Adjacent to the large boilers in the powerhouse, Brother Joseph had a workshop. It wasn't very large and contained only a limited assortment of tools. But here, in his spare time, Brother Joseph embarked on an ambitious task that continued throughout his life. He began to cement the rocks and discarded materials into replicas of buildings in Jerusalem. After each building was painstakingly crafted and partly assembled, Brother Joseph placed it on a wheelbarrow and wheeled it out through this door of the powerhouse. The earliest of these were taken to the monastery recreation grounds, where they were assembled for display. As the years passed, Brother Joseph kept adding more little buildings and shrines to his collection. Because of their religious significance, the local people who came to see them began to call his collection Jerusalem in miniature and Little Jerusalem. They became so popular during the 1920s that the abbot instructed Brother Joseph not to build anymore. Their presence was causing a disruption in the daily routines at the monastery. Eventually, however, a practical solution was found.
The main entrance to the monastery, there's this large stone quarry. The abbot and his council decided if they could put the buildings there and landscape this old stone quarry, then the people could come and enjoy Brother Joseph's little buildings without disturbing the privacy of the monastery, and that's what they did.
The miniature buildings were moved to this new site, but many of the shrines in the collection were not moved. They were, unfortunately, recently destroyed by a tornado that miraculously just missed the new grotto.
Brother Joseph designed and helped build the main grotto, which is about 20 feet wide and about 35 feet in height, and perhaps 15 feet in depth. On both sides of this grotto, they laid the buildings that Brother Joseph had completed, landscaped on the side of the old quarry. Finally, in 1934, it was all finished and officially opened and dedicated then as the Ave Maria Grotto.
For the next 25 years, Brother Joseph, with nothing more than a set of uncomplicated tools, continued to build miniature buildings in his workshop adjacent to the boilers he tended. During his lifetime, he managed to build a total of some 130 replicas.
Brother Joe is known as a very humble, sincere man, and many of the times when he was in the grotto working, in his old clothes, he always wore overalls, a little bitty jacket, a little cap. Very few people ever recognized him as the builder of all these little buildings. He's a very dedicated man and wanted no publicity of his own. One occasion, I saw him in the clothes and we were near a fire plug. I wanted to get the height of the man to show how tall he was. He was a very tiny man. I asked him to stand by the fire plug. He just came a little above the fire plug itself in height. He just smiled and said, "I'm not much taller than that fire plug."
Just slightly over 5 feet in height, a little man who ironically spent his life crafting little buildings. It is remarkable to consider that Brother Joseph was not a highly educated man, having only completed part of the high school curriculum. He was not trained to be an engineer or draftsman, but yet he had the skill to accurately duplicate in miniature form some of the world's most famous buildings.
Mind you, all of these buildings that you see in the grotto, only about 2 of them has he ever seen out of the country. The castle of Trausnitz and St. Martin's Church in Landshut, Bavaria. These were in his hometown where he was born and raised, and when he left there at the age of 13.
In spite of his never having personally seen them, Brother Joseph, working from photographs, painstakingly replicated the fine details of every building he crafted.
This is a replica, or what Brother Joseph called an outline of St. Peter's Church in Rome. Perhaps a little bit more correctly, it is St. Peter's Basilica. It's the church of the Pope in Rome. Any visitor to Rome generally includes a visit to this beautiful Basilica of St. Peter's. They all remember a huge open square in the front and a large obelisk in the middle here and the large colonnade around the edge.
This replica was built in the 1950s. The abbot at the time returned from a trip to Rome and suggested to Brother Joseph that he build a replica of St. Peter's. Brother Joseph agreed, and with only a picture from the library to guide him, he set to work. It took him close to 5 months, working only in his spare time, to build this model. Consistent with his creative nature, his choice of building materials was highly practical, but a bit unusual. For example, the top dome was made from a bird cage. The 2 smaller domes were made from a toilet bowl float, cut in 2. It is hard to believe that Brother Joseph was able to exact such detail and beauty from seemingly worthless items. The Colosseum was another of the famous buildings in and around Rome Brother Joseph built. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, to the north of Rome, is still another well-known building he placed in the Ave Maria Grotto. This is the Basilica of Our Lady of Fatima in central Portugal. It was here, in 1917, that Mary, the Mother of Jesus, appeared to several small children in a field and called upon the faithful to pray the rosary for world peace. Brother Joseph also built a replica of the more famous shrine in honor of Mary, the Lourdes Basilica in southern France.